Oh, baby. Listen. Audience, welcome. You comfortable, isn't it?
I'm real cozy, I'm not gonna lie. I've got my chamomile tea, my robe, I'm in my bed. Hello.
Listen, I like it, man. I like it. Listen, we have to be comfortable. You know what? I came out in the shirt and I was like, I saw the robe and I was like, do I go and get my little comfy little
No, but
pajamas? You
your
know what I'm
shirt
saying?
kind of giving me Versace vibes, I'm not gonna lie. The
You know what? It's
gold and the
Primark still. Don't worry about it. The £5 sale tag was on that. Okay, baby.
I see.
Trust me, trust me. Listen, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, and to have you aboard. You know, I've been following you for a little while. I actually saw you live in London some years back at YouTube Black event. Yeah,
Oh, okay. What
um,
woman songs?
yeah, he was performing your
Nice,
songs at the
nice.
time. So, shout out to you. So we appreciate your content and your work for a long time. So, it's good to have you here. How you doing today, anyway?
I'm good. I'm just sick. Trying to get better. I've been sick for like a week.
Girl, have you been doing them hot prayers? Because sometimes you need to have that shalabalabala stuff. You know what I mean?
I haven't. You might need to do a prayer for me when we're done with this, because
I know how it go. I know how it go. You know what I mean? But listen, audience, welcome. We're gonna have a real good conversation. Sit down, whatever you want to call it today. But we're gonna have a real talk. Because you've been putting out some great content. In fact, you've been blowing up this internet, viral, for the last few weeks, baby.
yeah,
You know what I'm
I wasn't
saying?
expecting the viralness, but yeah.
Listen, you've been killing it, and I love it. You've been killing it. I'm not gonna lie to you, you've been killing it. But it's because you've been authentic and you've
Yeah.
been real and you've told your truth, and I think people can buy into that. We all like a bit of tea, though. That's the honest truth as well. But
Yeah.
the truth and the reality is always good to see. So before we get into any real conversation, I like to do what we call human verification. Okay, it's just a few questions just to make sure, no, your beautiful self here is not, it's not AI. You know what I mean? You're not a chat robot.
Come on.
Make sure we never know these days. The AI is getting real good these days.
It's
You
not
know what I
really
mean?
me.
Are you sure? You never know. It could be iRobot thing. You get me? So
Mm.
before it gets to there, I got to ask a few questions. Make sure you're actually who you are. You know what I mean?
I
You
might start
ready?
glitching. Go on.
You might start glitch. Exactly. You never know. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions. All right, cool. My first question to you, simply put, favorite color.
It changes. Right now,
Mm.
I'm gonna say black, even though black's not really a color, but I'm gonna say black for right now.
Oh, okay. So why black? What is it about
Just the
black
way
that's talking to you?
I'm feeling very
Mm.
dark lately.
Chais. Feeling very dark. In what way though? Because when I say dark, that means
Mm.
mischievous for me. So it depends what you mean
I'm
by
just feeling
dark.
very dark, as in my soul is dark. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm. Okay, I'm gonna hold on to that because we're gonna revisit that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about it a little bit later on. I got you. All right, cool. So favorite color was black. All right. My next question for you then is favorite food.
Ooh, ooh, that's a hard one. I love food, you know. Um,
Mm.
anything seafood.
Oh,
I
I'm not
like
through
lobster
seafood
and I
again.
like shrimps and I like crab. Just seafood.
Seafood. See, I'm not a seafood person, you know.
Really? Oh, you're missing
Yeah.
out.
Oh no, I don't know
What
what it
what
is
is
about
it about
seafood.
seafood you don't like?
I don't know. I mean, I can deal with prawns. I can deal with crab. But the frustration thing for me about
Lobster?
crab, but lobster is not my. Do you know what it is? It's overhyped for me. Lobster, overhyped, right? Overhyped with little to no meat. Don't make no sense.
Little to no meat. Nah, you're having some skimpy lobster.
No, no. You telling me there's
You're
enough
even
meat in the lobster?
lobster.
No, no. You telling me there's enough meat in the lobster?
Yeah, lobster tails. You get a nice, thick, juicy lobster tail. Ooh, come on, come on.
All right. Wait. Okay. So in the UK, where you ordering the lobster from then?
There's this
For
place
you?
called Hot and Juicy Shrimp (LDN), which I love going to
Okay.
for lobster. I don't normally order. They have like pop-up shops and stuff, and I go. But my
Okay.
mum usually cooks it. You know, I don't even really go to too many places for it. My mum just cooks it. She orders it in and then she cooks it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. If you're sick, what's the kind of meal that you would love to eat? Like, you know, when you like, you know, your go-to meal that makes you feel comfort and homely. What would be your go-to meal aside lobster?
Probably soup, like Jamaican pea soup.
Mm.
Or like a seafood soup. My mum does like the Jamaican soup, but she puts like prawns and stuff in it and crab and that. It's really nice.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds heavy.
Yeah.
Looks like I know where I'm coming for. You know, get a little science. All right, cool. And I want to ask you a few questions. I know you're a bit of a music head, so you know,
Oh,
I got some lyrics that you know I wanted you to tell me what the song is. You know, I know I'm a bit of a '90s fan. Okay,
okay.
so here's one of the lyrics. The 22nd of loneliness, and we've been through so many things. I love my man with all honesty, but I know he's cheating on me.
I know this. That's not Saving All My Love for You, is it?
No.
No. I know it though. What is it? Go on.
TLC Creep.
That's it. Give me another one.
All right, here's another one. Girl, if I told you I love you, that doesn't mean that. Girl, if I told you I love you, that don't mean it. Whoa, my English. Whoa, teacher, excuse me. Girl, if I told you I love you, that doesn't mean it. That I don't care. Ooh, and when I tell you I need you, don't you think that I'll never be there? Ooh. When you put a British accent on it, it's mad because it's not a British song.
Not gonna lie, I don't know that one.
It's 112 Cupid.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I had to make it a little bit harder, you know what I'm saying? You know, I couldn't make it too easy. Okay, third question on this one. One of my last questions. Okay. Vibes Cartel sang a song about a famous German whip. Which German whip was he talking about?
You're making me look rubbish. I don't know. Nah, it's not coming to me.
Well, he's talked about the Benz, and he spoke about the give me the Benz. Let me drive it up. Let me say that.
Nah, you just made me look so rubbish.
I don't know how you know that, because girl, you know we out here in them dances, you know, doing some dances.
Yeah.
When's the last time you went to a dance hall rave?
I haven't, which is why I'm throwing one for my birthday. I'm having a dance hall queen themed party for my birthday.
Ooh.
I'm gonna send you an invite actually on the 21st.
Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready for my dance skills though. Are you sure you're ready for that? You know what I mean? I'm gonna turn it up. I hope they're ready for that. Okay. All right, cool. You passed our human verification. We believe you're a human being, and we appreciate your participation. So I'm going to ask a question that I like to ask everybody. So I'm hopefully I'm going to pronounce your name correctly, because I've been pronouncing your name wrong, and my audience has been killing me all season long. So is it Daina? Have I said it right?
Daina.
Daina. Thank you. I won't get it wrong again. Daina. I won't get it wrong again. So Daina, I want to know, what is your story and who is Daina?
Who is Daina? Do you know what? My story, I was raised by a single mum all over the world, moved to America at the age of 2, came back to the UK briefly, and then went back out to the States when I was 5. Went to school out there, New Jersey, New York for a year, Fort Lauderdale, Florida for middle school, came back to secondary school, moved to East London, and did the rest of school there. Went to sixth form, performing arts, went to college after that, vocal arts, went to university for photography. I've always been into arts. I've just always been like a really artsy, creative type person. I've never really had a regular job, a 9 to 5, I guess you could say. I've just always been a hustler. I feel like I've always had I've always had the mentality of I have to do for myself because who else is going to? And that's the way I've lived my life. Like, I don't rely on anyone. As bad as it might sound, I don't rely on anyone, family, friends, partner, no one. I kind of just have always relied on myself. and I always want more. Like, I'm never happy. I'm never satisfied.
Okay, so let me touch on that and straight away then. So you've had to do everything almost by yourself. Why for you did you feel like that was the overwhelming kind of thought process or theme in your life at that time? Why is it that you've always felt like you've had to do everything yourself?
Because of the way I grew up, I didn't really grow up with money. I didn't grow up in like a nice, wealthy two-parent household type of thing. And I saw my mum struggle a lot. And I just always felt like if I fail, the cycle won't be broken. Like, I'm just going to end up in the same cycle that my mum's been in, struggling. I'm going to end up with kids that I can't look after properly or how I want to. And I'm just really scared of that. I've always been scared of failing. And because I've seen my mum go through so much, I feel like I'm the one that is going to help her change her life. Like, I'm going to be the one to take my mum out the hood. I feel like out of all me and my siblings, I just felt like that weight on my back. I guess because I'm the oldest. I'm the
Yeah.
oldest out of 3. So I just always felt like it's up to me kind of thing. And I know people rely on me. So it's like, if I fail, what's going to happen? Because anytime someone's got a problem, who do they call? They call Daina. So if they can't call Daina, what's going to happen to us? Literally.
That's interesting that you said that everybody relies on you. And I was going to ask a question, but you kind of answered, but still I'll ask the question. Is that everybody relying on you something that you perceive, or is it literally the reality that people are actually relying on you? Because, sometimes we can take on responsibility that because you're like, I'm firstborn too. So I know there's almost a perception behind it. You're firstborn, everyone's watching you, what you're doing, and you get normally you're going to break this, you're going to break that, you're going to do this. So for you, is it the perception that you have all this responsibility, or is it generally that is the reality that you've seen, that everything falls on your lap and you've got to kind of handle all of those things?
It's a bit of both, because my close family, they don't always come to me for everything. But at the same time, I get the feeling that they expect me to offer my help because that's just what I do. And that's what I've always done. So it's like, if I'm being told there's like a big problem, it's like they're only telling me because they know I can solve it. They're not just telling me to tell me. They're telling me because it's like, okay, if anyone can solve this problem, it's you. So are you going to offer to solve it or not? And 9 times out of 10, I solve the problem. So, yeah.
That's heavy. That's
Yeah, I
very
didn't
heavy.
realize it was heavy until I said it out loud. Oh gosh, what are you gonna get me into?
I hope you got more of that tea, baby. We might need some tissue tonight. Nah, I mean, I definitely hear that because you're firstborn, and I totally understand as a firstborn how, there's a lot of weight on your particular shoulders. So what I heard, and maybe you can expand on this as well, is so who was meeting your needs then when you were younger? Because you're moving around quite a bit, like you said. You visited so many different places, which is kind of a blessing in terms of what you've seen, but it also means you're not able to be as stable as you need to be in terms of being settled in one place. So from your early kind of memories, who was kind of meeting your needs in a sense then? Did you feel like you could voice your needs, or do you feel you had to put it on a kind of back burner to kind of supply everybody else?
Back then, I wouldn't really put it on a back burner to supply everyone else, but more so I didn't want to give my mum any stress because, like I said, my mum, she was doing everything on her own, and I can tell she was stressed out a lot of the time. Like, there was at times where she'll be working 2, 3 jobs at a time, would have to go stay with my grandma, and I just knew she was doing her best. So if I did have any problems, I didn't really want to bring them to her, if I'm
That's real.
honest. And plus, I had to be the big sister for my little brother anyway, because my mum was relying on me at the time to look out for my little brother, make sure everything's going all right while I'm out here working, whatever. Yeah, you're with your grandma, but like, she's an old Jamaican woman. Like, we need you to also be on point. So that's kind of how it always was.
So you almost became like we call it the third parent.
Yeah.
Like the extra parent in the household.
Yeah.
where you're laden with an extra responsibility of looking after the siblings. You almost part of the process of raising them up as well. What was that like then? Because obviously, like you said, your brother's underneath you. So, what was that like in terms of that
I
role?
mean, it was good between me and my brother. We were like best friends. We're like 5 years apart, so we was always good. But when my sister came along, my sister was born when I was 14, so that was a bit more annoying because I
Hey,
just felt
listen.
like I don't want to know, why am I changing nappies and dealing with a baby at 14? Like I don't want to. But I did it because this is what we did, isn't it?
You
Yeah.
ain't telling no lies. I always, I was saying to, I always said to the youngest one that came out of all of us, there's four of us. I was like, yeah, I didn't, after my brother, I said, I didn't want to see any of you lot come out, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
it was me who was going to change the nappies, who was going to do the bottle distilling, the SMA, the Weetabix, the potty training. Okay. I was going to be the one that most times spent time putting you all to sleep, watching y'all put sick on me, watching you walk, talk, dinner. Your first, I even said to the audience, one of my younger sister, her first was Co. It wasn't dad, it was Co. That's how much time I spent with you. You spent too much time. So I definitely understand that in that aspect as well. So you moved around though quite a lot as well though.
Yeah. So I moved
What was that?
around because okay, well, when I was 2, moved to Jacksonville, Florida with my mom and dad. My grandma was living in Jacksonville at the time, so we went there. Came back, and then the reason why we left again, went to New Jersey, is actually we was on the run from my dad. My dad was very abusive to my mom. He would
Sorry.
beat her bad, cut off her hair, hung her out the window by her ankles. He's done the most. He's even beat me until I've wet myself. He was just, yeah, he was mad. So my grandma was living in New Jersey at the time we finally had ran away from him. So that's why we moved to New Jersey, to stay with my grandma. And then when we came back when I was 14, I actually reached out to my dad to try and have a relationship. My mom, she gave me my great grandma's address. She said, if you want to go find your dad, find your dad. And I did. And then we were kind of building a relationship, but he would start to try and plant things in my head like your mom's no
Mm,
angel, or there's reasons for things. You've heard one side of story, but it's not even I've heard one side of story. I've witnessed this with my own 2 eyes. Like I've been running up and down the house screaming my head off while you've got my mom pinned down cutting her hair off. Like there's no two sides. So I just realized he was just something's wrong with him. I don't know. I've tried and tried and tried with him. And that's another thing that I feel like I need to figure out myself, why I've tried so many times with him, because
mm,
I think I tried with him up until 2 years ago was the last time I tried with him. And then I completely cut him off after that because he started coming at me and telling me, "Oh, you're fake. You made a YouTube video about me." I was telling my truth. It's like, "You made a YouTube video about me. You're the devil. All you care about is likes and clout and YouTube views, and how dare I let you back into my life? You will not come and ruin my life. I was fine without you and I'll be fine now." And I'm like, okay, wow. Faza. Okay, nice. So that's the end of that then. I don't see myself reaching out again. I've done it
that's fair.
enough times, too many times. And I'm the only one that has, because my brother's washed his hands years ago. He's never tried to build a relationship. It's always just been me.
Mm.
I'm over it. Yeah.
How does that affect? Because obviously you've actually tried to reach out, like fair
Yeah.
play to you. You know what I mean? And you've tried to build that bridge, and then when you've tried to build that bridge, you've got burnt in the process.
Hmm.
How did that affect you then? Because obviously you tried to build a bridge. Generally, they try
Yeah.
to build a bridge.
Honestly, it really frustrates me. It angers me more than anything because I just want to know
Mm,
why. Why can't I get some clear answers to why you are the way you are and why you haven't been a dad and why you were the way you were to my mom? Like why can't he take any accountability for his actions as well? It's just really confusing. I just don't get it. And I feel like I'm like that with a lot of people. I always want to understand like why.
same, yeah.
And I hate that because I
Mm,
don't always get my answers and then I'm just like left just going over it in my head over and over and over. But yeah, it's just left me really kind of angry. It's just left me a really angry person, I'm not gonna lie. Because
mm,
I don't trust people really. I don't really listen to much people say. And then when people are giving me any ounce of niceness or oh gosh, sorry.
That's all right. You're good.
Yeah, anytime anyone's like nice to me, I just feel like, oh, you're the best person ever because I'm not really used to it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not used to anyone being nice to me. Not like
Mm,
anyone's mean to me, but at the same time, no one's really nice to me either.
mm. What happens when people start being nice to you? Like what for you is going through your head when they
Oh,
start
let's
being
keep
nice?
this one around. I've got to keep this person around because they're nice to me. I like being
Mm,
people being nice to me. It's nice because I feel like I'm always nice to people. I'm the person that always wants to do for others. I want to make sure everyone else is good, make sure everyone's cool. Yep, good. And I just wish that that was normalized more, I guess, in my life for people to just like it's normal. I'm nice to you, you're nice to me. I do for you, you
mm.
do for me. But it's not always like that.
Yeah, you know what, and that's real because I'm actually identifying with a lot of what you're saying in terms of the asking why question. It's like you're kind of reaffirming what we spoke about yesterday on the live. I was saying that sometimes, even for us as men, some of us men, not all, but some of us men, you talk to a girl, it doesn't work out, and you're always asking why. You almost want to ask her, why? And sometimes there's just no, you're not going to get your answer on the sense, but it still doesn't take away the frustration of wondering why that is. So I definitely understand that particular part as well. And I can understand that there could be a frustration behind it as well. So okay, so you built the bridge gets burnt, you're wondering why, and you can see that also being, you're nice to people, but people don't necessarily, you don't always get that back in a sense. So how do you feel like the relationship with your father, or the lack of, how do you feel for you, did it affect you in your early years and growing up then for you?
Growing up, I didn't really notice that he weren't
Mm,
there. Like I knew he weren't there, but I knew the reason why he weren't there, and I was okay with that. It's like, okay, you were abusive. You don't need to be around. And I did have like my uncles around, male cousins older than me. So I always, yeah, I felt fine. It's not until really I got into my adult years where I just felt like this isn't right. Like I actually want a relationship with my dad. Like I want to have a dad. Why can't I have a dad?
mm,
And at the same time, I felt like I was kind of betraying my mum because my mum's done everything for us. My mum is like, me and my mum are really close. And I did feel like I was betraying her, even trying to repair relationships so many times. But every single time I told her I was going to reach out to him, she never stopped me. She never tried to. She never badmouthed him. She never nothing. She said, do what you have to do. And I feel like I really respect her for that because she knew I had to see for myself. There's no point
mm.
telling me he's crazy. Go see.
You'll find out.
Literally.
You'll see what I've seen. Yeah, that's real. And shout out to your mom as well, because there are some parents who would, in willingly wanting to protect their child, will tell them, listen, there's no point. But the fact that she gave you that room to go and find out yourself just means, again, that trust and that relationship between your mom and yourself just remains intact, and it's grown even more. You know what I mean? Because you know that she's not going to try and stop you from that. That's quite interesting. So, okay, so you speak quite fondly about your mum. I know you spoke a little bit about your dad, but you speak quite fondly about your mum. Tell us a little bit about, growing up with your mum. What was that like for you? I don't know why I'm getting a little bit of rebel vibes from you. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm
Me?
saying? Yeah, I get a
No,
little
there was a
rebel
couple times I rebelled a little bit.
vibe.
No, do you know what? My mum, she used to deal with me. I'm not gonna lie. When I was in middle school in Florida, I used to be a bit.
Mm,
Do you know what? I was influenced by the girls in middle school, and the girls in middle school, they were winding up with boys, shaking their little
jeez,
booties at young
jeez.
ages. I
Mm,
kid you not. I swear to you, true story. When I started my new school in Fort Lauderdale, I went into the
mm.
building with my stepdad, and then there was like all these kids in a line, and we were supposed to go to the office to enroll. And I swear, someone from the line shouted, "Fresh meat tonight!" And I said, "What? What are they talking
Me?
about?" It was really like that. Like the girls were kind of, I don't want to say the girls are fast because we were kids, but like, a lot of them were developed from an early age, and I wasn't. I didn't develop until like late teens, but they were all developed already. They were already having periods. They were already like being intimate with boys. And I kind of just felt like unless I try and fit in, I'm going to be bullied, because I was already like super skinny. I was already like the shortest in the class. I was already kind of foreign, because even though I'd been living in America from before, I was still from England, and my mum still had a British accent. So there was still bits of British accent, because she would speak to us in a British accent. So it's not like I was just a regular American kid. Like, people used to fight me all the time. People would want to fight me. They would like make up lies and be like, "Oh, you trying to fight? Oh, you want to try to fight because you trying to talk to my boyfriend?" No, 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 no. I wasn't talking to nobody's boyfriend. I was interested in Powerpuff Girls. I was interested in, coloring. I was like writing little song lyrics. I wasn't interested in anything that any of the other kids were interested in. And like, even the boys, I remember the boys would try and tease me. I remember this one boy, he was like, "I bet you bald headed." And I was like, "Huh? What do you mean? I've got hair." He's like, "I ain't talking about on your head." I said, "Sorry, mind you, we're like 10, 11, and you're talking about some you bald headed." So I'm like, okay, they're very fast. I remember this one time we had like this apartment complex, and there would be like parks on each part. I put on my mum's friend. My mum had a friend. She had a daughter who was 9. I must have been 11 at the time. She was 9. She had like a 2-piece skirt set. I put on her little 2-piece skirt set, my little cheap beauty supply lip gloss. I walked over to the other complex to go and see the neighborhood boys. I had my brother with me. I had the roommate's daughter with me. And then we went down there. And then we went in this little, there was like a little cupboard. One of the boys wanted to go in the cupboard with me. I went in the cupboard with him, and I was terrified. Like, I was literally shaking. Like, I'm in this cupboard thinking, okay, this is what the girls do, but I don't want to be in the cupboard. I don't know what I'm doing in the cupboard. So we're in the cupboard in the dark. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. He's like, "So what do you want to do?" I'm like, "I don't know what we're going to do." He's like, "What do you want to do?" I'm so happy. At the time, I was shitting myself, but I'm so happy. All I hear is my Jamaican mother, "Daina! Daina!" screaming. I'm like, "Oh shit, my mom." I got outside. She drags me back to the house. "Get in the mama clap, pussy clap." I was like, "Oh my gosh." It's like I was scared of my mom, but I was also very grateful, because what am I doing in the cupboard? From that day, I never again would I ever try anything again. But yeah, there's loads of little stories like that, because that's what I just felt like it had to be. Even like parties, I remember my best friend, she had a little birthday party. You go there, all of the girls are whining with the boys, and the parents are all there. They're all there watching. And I remember a boy wanted to dance with me, and then he looked at me to dance, and I looked at my mum, and then my mum goes,
Don't even think about it. Just gonna give you the look.
So yeah, growing up in Florida and New Jersey was very, very different to what it was like in London in secondary school, to be honest.
So what would it like what would you say like are the major differences between the two? Like, because you got a bit of both. So like, in terms of growing up in US and growing up in UK, what was the kind of differences that you kind of noticed in terms of like the environment, the culture, society around you? What was the differences for you?
The differences for me were, well, to be honest, the UK wasn't any, I'm not going to say it was any better, because it weren't really better, but it weren't, I didn't feel pressured to be someone I'm not in the UK. In the UK, I was my dancing self, my singing self, my quirky, weird self. And yeah, people might tease me or make little remarks, but I felt more comfortable to be me in the UK, where I didn't in the US. In the US, I felt like I had to be like them. So I'll say that. But in the UK, same thing, because by the time I got to the UK, I was in year 8. So it was the same thing. Girls were trying to, do stuff with boys and all of that sort of stuff. But I didn't feel pressured that I had to. To be honest, I feel like a lot of it came from the fact that I wasn't developed yet, and I was like the short, skinny girl. So none of the boys wanted to do nothing with me anyway. So I felt free. Like, yes, leave me alone. Thank you.
Culture wise then, because obviously coming from a Jamaican background, mum's Jamaican. But is it different was it different for you in terms of experiencing that kind of culture in US compared to UK
Yeah,
then? Did you
because
find like a
in the
difference?
US, not all of them were American. There was no one else that was
Mm,
like Jamaican or African or anything. They were just, yeah, I'm African American, I'm African American. You might get a couple Haitians, and those were the girls that I usually were friends with because they had a bit of culture. So I was like, okay, let me learn a bit about your Haitian culture. But yeah, for the most part, everyone was just American, American. So when I came back over to the UK, and it's like there's a lot of Caribbeans, there's a lot of Africans, I'm like, okay, I feel a bit more comfy. Because even like my friends in America, if they'll come over to eat, they would ask like, "What's your mum? What's that she's cooked? What's this? I don't get this." And I'd feel like a lot of our stuff was weird because we weren't out
mm,
eating like collard greens and grits and yams and all of that. But that's what they're used to. I was making
mm.
oxtail, rice and peas, curry goat.
Because when I was growing up, so I grew up around a lot of Jamaican people. So obviously, I grew up in that London Battersea, so in Clapham
Mm,
Junction. But a lot of people that I grew up around were Caribbean, Jamaican.
mm,
So the culture is quite close to me, even though I come from an African background. So, and obviously we have overlapping aspects when it comes to Ghana and Jamaica and some of our history as well. So, it's always good to kind of chop it up with Jamaicans. But so for you then, okay, like I said, you're growing up, like you said, and yeah, the boys are kind of leaving you alone because you're underdeveloped in a sense, etc., etc.
mm.
What was it? So as you've come to UK and now you're getting older and you're getting a bit more wiser and stuff. When it comes to relationships, what was your mindset like then? Kind of growing up in terms of that then. So when it comes to actually dealing with boys or anything like, what's the kind of mindset in that respect then?
To be honest, I didn't really have a mindset when it
Mm,
came to guys. I just knew I liked what I like. I had a
mm,
type physically,
you
and
got
that was
time.
about it. As long as you fit my physical type, sure, I'll see what you've got to say.
What was the type?
Stop it. Say like one physical type, it's
Mm,
giving
mm,
Chris
mm, mm.
Brown. That's what it's giving.
Oh,
Yeah. That's changed though now.
Nothing wrong with that, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. It's good to have a type like that. Chris Brown type is not a problem at all. Okay, so you like them tall, light skin, tan it up a little bit. You like the little tats as
Tatted.
well.
Tatted.
Tan it up. And do they need to fit the bad boy profile, or could they be more of the good boy type? Or what was your kind of?
A
Did you need them
mixture of
to be
both. I
a
don't
mixture of
like
both? Mm,
criminals. I don't like criminals. But then I don't like nerdy, super nerdy, but a little bit of nerdy because I'm a bit nerdy. A bit
mm.
of both.
Yeah, I didn't know you're a little bit nerdy. What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm a little bit nerdy. Like I used to watch like Dragon Ball Z. I loved Pokemon. I love video games. I'm like super into like tech and stuff. So I'm nerdy in that
Mm.
sense.
Okay, that makes sense. So obviously the guy that you liked had to kind of be involved in that a little bit,
Just
but
a
still
little.
look like Chris Brown.
Well, not exactly.
No, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You like what you like, girl. We ain't
That's not
mad.
my type anymore. Just an FYI.
You'd have to change Chris Brown somewhere. Okay,
No,
wait,
but
wait,
my
wait.
type has
Okay,
changed
so
since
it's
college.
changed.
Yeah.
How's it?
When I
How's it
first
changed
started
for you then?
looking like
Yeah,
I want a boyfriend, that was my type.
yeah. Nothing wrong with that. So okay, what's your type now then? What's the
My
change?
type is I really am attracted to ambitious guys, just someone with
Okay.
ambition. I like a nice smile.
Mm,
Um, I like humor, sense of humor, funny, goofy. Don't take yourself too seriously.
yes.
Someone who's clean, hygiene,
Mm,
very important.
that's fair.
Someone that just takes care of themselves.
Showers
But yeah, I
basically
like
every
black
day.
men. That's it. Just black men, all shades of black. That's it.
That's cool. So hygiene is important, guys. Make sure you shower every day if you come around our good sis. Okay, if you know you need to take a shower every 2 days, this ain't it. All right.
And cut your nails, man.
Hey, listen, that one is that they have some people having the long. I don't want to. Let me not go there. You know, back in the day, some people have the long nail that's not cut. And anyway, let me not because that's another conversation after dark. But you know, obviously, so for you then, you know, okay, so okay, you've grown up a little bit more. And obviously we know, you know, your greater part of the story in terms of you being married and stuff. But before you got married and everything like that, did you get to date anybody else?
Yeah. I had a few boyfriends from the age of 16 to 18. But those relationships, do we really count them so young?
Do we count them? I don't know. I mean, do we count them?
Do we?
Do we?
I mean,
I
we
don't
can.
know. It depends. It depends on the serious nature of the relationship. Were they serious? Did they go any distance at all?
I don't think so. I would say the longest one I had was from age 14, actually, from 14 to 16. But he was my best friend, became boyfriend. I lost my virginity to him. We were really
How did that work?
close.
See, sometimes this how us man we be hovering around that friendship zone area. Y'all be giving at least one of us a play. So, but wait, so how did that turn out? How did that work out?
I don't even know. Because we didn't even go to the same school. So he was friends with one of my good friends at my school. And I remember one time they invited me to church. And I went to the church and I met him. And then we were just on the phone every day from then. And I'd always take the train and the bus, go up to South London, go see him. We'd just hang out, play video games. I don't know how it happened, really. I think it just happened. I don't think he actually... Yeah, I don't think we actually had like a conversation like, oh, you're my girlfriend now. It just kind of happened. Like, oh, yep, that's them. Boyfriend, girlfriend.
You one of them ones. I'm a bit like that a little bit as well. I just like to just flow. But that would get me into trouble. So like you just want to flow with somebody and it just, you know, it clicks, it happens. Before you know it, you're there. You know what I mean? You just arrived. You know what I mean? Next you know, just working with a girlfriend. I mean,
yeah.
We didn't have to announce it. So okay, no, I get that. So that was what, so how you was together for like what, 2 years, you said?
Yeah, for like 2 years. I think I stopped. Or maybe even going on 3 years. But it was becoming a bit difficult to even have a relationship with him because we didn't have anywhere to go. Like we're living with parents at the time. He was Nigerian and he had like traditional African parents. So I can't keep coming to his yard. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. You know the custody behind your back. Who is that girl that keeps coming?
Yeah, so we kind of just drifted apart. We didn't have like no bad blood. There was no argument, no breakup, no fight. We just literally like, how are we gonna be boyfriend girlfriend? We can barely even see each other.
That's real.
Yeah.
All right, that's real. So okay, so let me leave the relationship part for a little while because you know there's more to than just relationships. I want to know. So at this point now, because like you said, you know, let's say around about the 16, 17, you know, what are your goals and your ambitions at that point in time then? So like I know you're still young, but did you have any goals, ambitions, do you have any dreams, anything you were trying to aim for?
Yeah, back then I just wanted to be a singer. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be rich and famous. I wanted to be as big as Michael Jackson. That's what I wanted. If I wasn't going to be singing, I was going to be dancing. And that's what I was doing. Like I was in a dance group. I was doing dance competitions. I was doing auditions. I was doing a lot in terms of dance, to be honest. And my career was going in that path because I was getting booked for work.
Oh, wow.
It's not until I realized I like singing more than I do dancing when I just stopped. I'm like, I can't be someone's backup dancer. Like I'm the artist.
The main character.
I kind of just stopped. And I think that's when I took singing seriously. And that's when I went to vocal college and did all of that.
So okay, so like you were a dancer first, then a singer. Wait, what kind of music were you dancing to?
Hip hop. You know, you got served.
You were doing the
Listen, don't play with me.
you give it all
right here. I really was.
Listen, I ain't even mad at it. Listen, the pop lock and drop it. Hey, do what you gotta do. That's rated. I never actually didn't know that part. I knew you were into the singing, but I didn't know about the dancing aspect.
Yeah, I was dancing heavy.
But it kind of makes sense because your style of dressing. I remember you used to wear like but obviously now it makes sense. Obviously, come from America too. The style of dressing also kind of made me think this person might dance a little bit. But I never thought you were a dancer.
Yeah, dancers
You used
always
to wear a
make
little
me.
crop top thing here, with the the 90s kind of look you used to wear, which you
Yeah,
used to kind of bring to the table.
and the bright
Um,
colored hair. My hair was like bright red.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was fashion for you? Because that looked like you really enjoyed your fashion. So was like fashion for you a bit of freedom for you, or was it like your artistic expression? What was it for you, fashion?
I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, if you don't know. And Michael Jackson has this quote that says, "If fashion forbids it, I'm going to do it." And I've always loved that
Mm,
quote because I feel the same. I'm like, yep, if someone's going to tell me no, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to
that's
wear
me.
the most maddest things and I'm going to pull it off. And that's what fashion's always been for me. I just move mad. Like I remember there was this one lady on my block who would always be outside every time I passed her to go to college. And she'd be like, "I always
Mm.
look forward to you walking past my house because I want to see what you're wearing. You're just always wearing something mad." And when she said that, I went even madder. I'm like, yeah,
I'm gonna do it more.
more.
You gonna get this work. Yeah, no, because your style is quite, like I said, it's quite. I wouldn't even say unique, but you have your own sense of style, and I like that because it's. And the reason why I like that, I think, because as a person individually too, I like to be free. So
Mm.
any form of artistic expression that I can be free in. So I love dance. I love being able to sing, and I love acting too. So I love anything that allows me to kind of break the constraints. You know what I mean? And my thing also too, if you tell me no, I I want to do it now. Now you told me
Now
no,
what
now I
to do?
want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I really want to. Where do you think that comes from for you though?
Good question. I don't know. It's just what I've always been drawn to out of the ordinary things.
Mm.
It's just always so exciting to me. I don't know, to be honest. I don't like being
Do you remember
told no. I know that much. I do not like being told no.
Yes. Do you remember the first time? Do you remember the first? Do you remember the first time you ever someone told you no, and you was like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this thing."
It might have actually been in school. I painted a pair of my shoes. And it's not that anyone told me no. I painted them and I got Skittles wrappers and I like glued the Skittles wrapper, but then I like cut out around the design of the shoe so it's like proper blended in and fit.
Hey,
And I wore them to school. I remember for PE because everyone's busting out their normal trainers for PE. I bust out that for the PE. And I remember this one girl, she was like popular in school. She tried to laugh at me. "Do you stick Skittles on your shoes? What you do? Why's your shoe?" And she was really making a big deal out of it, drawing attention to my shoes. And I was like, yeah. Yeah. I continued. And guess what? People started paying me to do theirs. So she
wow!
tried it, didn't succeed.
If anything, she birthed the hustle. You like you said, you are a bit of a hustler.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That's obviously another hustle that you ventured into.
Hmm.
Um, you know that hustler spirit is real in you. You know what I mean? Like whatever your hand touches, you seem to bring a blessing upon. Um, when did you notice that you had that kind of hustler spirit in you, that you want to make things happen like that in a business sense for you, make money?
That happened from a really young age. I think from maybe 8, 9. I think my first hustle was when I would get like my little pocket money. I would go and buy candy from the store and I'll sell it double the price at school because I wanted more money to buy. There was like this shop that used to sell these chicken legs and they'll put hot sauce on it in a piece of foil. And I always wanted to have money to buy the chicken leg after school.
Not you, not you trying to get some food up in here.
So like I'll just try and make more money so I can, get extra things that I know my mum wouldn't get for me. So that's where it really came from. I just always wanted money from a young age. I want money.
Mm.
especially because I used to hear my mum complain about money. Like, we can't afford this or we can't afford that. So it's always like, money is very important. I need it. I need the money. So I try and get it any way I can.
You know what's so weird is I feel myself like identifying with so much of the things that you said, because like growing up as well, firstborn like yourself as well, like I mean my first hustle was I started selling sweets from Lidl in my school, because our school we couldn't leave the premises. So I would like buy some sweets from Lidl, mix them up, put them in little bag sachets, you know what I mean, and start selling like 30p at a go.
Put them in the
Listen, don't play with me. Come on, don't play with me. You know, I'm a hustler like you, baby. Okay. You know, so I had to, but it was born out of what you just said, like almost instinctively. You kind of like when you get told no for certain things, I don't want to be a burden. You know what I mean? I don't want to be, if I ask for it and you say no, I'm like, okay, let it go. I don't want to be an issue. If I ask for something on my birthday, I stopped asking for things for my birthday because I knew I weren't getting it. So I just didn't want to bother them. Like I don't know if that is. I think that's partly the acclimatized into the environment, but I also think that's your nature as well. I think you just have a caring nature, that you're aware of your surroundings and the people around you as well. That you try to, you know, not try to be too much, you know, of a burden for people, because you don't want it to be like, oh, I'm causing you stress. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense for you?
Yeah. Definitely didn't want to cause stress or be a burden. Especially when it came to things as well, like trends, especially in America. Like, we had uniform, but we could wear our own shoes. So I wanted the latest. I'm not gonna lie.
Stress.
I wanted the latest. And if you didn't have the latest, I remember my mum's husband at the time, he was working at a shoe place and he got me these shoes, which were the latest at the time. I wore them for the whole semester. Next semester now, I came out with the same shoes, and oh my gosh, this one girl pointed it out. You still rocking them shoes, Daina? From she said that, I was like, nah, I need to buy myself some new shoes. Because I don't want to go and tell my mom that the girl at school said, oh, you're wearing the same shoes. She's gonna be like, my business? My business what the girl at school said? She'll buy the shoes then? No, she's not. So I'm not gonna tell her that. I'm gonna just figure out how I can get the shoes myself, because she ain't about to play me. Talking about wearing the same shoes. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, that's a big thing, you know. That was a big thing. It wasn't as big as in our school, because we had uniform, and the only time you see people with their own trainers is obviously after school or own clothes day. So it wasn't as big a deal, but you definitely felt some pressure, because I was rocking 4 stripes, and that was political. You know what I mean? Like, Adidas 3, I was wearing 4. You know, I was wearing Elise trainers. This was not working. Okay, all right, this was not good. All right, and at a point in time, my shoes had hole in them, man. Because listen, you can't. Your parents, and it's sad to say, but you know, you don't want to put pressure on your parents to buy a new uniform and all that kind of stuff, because you knew they couldn't necessarily afford it. Because you hear the inflection in their tone in their voice when you ask, like, "Mum, like, I need new trousers."
You know what? It was worse for me, because I used to keep my shoes really well kept, so I wouldn't have holes in them. They might get a little bit dirty, but my shoes were always in really good condition. And I've been the same size foot since the age of, I think, 13. I've been a size 4 since the age of 13. So it's not like my feet grew bigger. So my mum never felt like she had to buy me more shoes, because like the shoes you have are perfectly fine. So if I wanted new shoes, it's literally just for vanity reasons. So I had to get them myself. I had no choice.
That's not easy. That's not easy. I was trying to buy a bike. You were trying to buy shoes, but I was trying to buy a bike. But I appreciate your hustle. Okay, I appreciate your hustle. Did you ever get drafted into anything? Young, Gifted, and Black. Did they ever do anything like that? They might have called it something else, like for gifted Black students. You know.
No.
What?
No.
They didn't draft you in, girl?
No.
They did you dirty. They didn't see that hustler spirit. You need to call them out. You need to call them out. What? You never got to go to any programs on him, because they were helping, you know, Black students.
I did get a certificate once from Bill Clinton. He was the president at the time. And he gave me like a nice achievement certificate. I felt really
Oh,
proud of
okay.
that.
What was achievement for?
It just said achievement. That's all
Nah. It's me thinking. It's me thinking you actually did that, you know, and then
it said achievement.
just for achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did you dirty. I'm gonna lie to you, they did you dirty.
Listen,
If
it's
that's
real
what it is,
given.
was a sign still delivered?
Well, it wasn't signed like fresh with pen. It was like a signature that was printed on it, but it was still his signature.
It's still broken. A win is a win. I'm gonna take it. A win is a win. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I hear that. All right. So obviously, so singer, dancer, sorry, and then singer, also hustler, as well. Businesswoman. Let me call it that. Businesswoman. You know. So I want to know a bit more about your singing, because that's where your passion. It sounds like that's where your passion was kind of lying. And we've heard some of your songs as well. We know you put some truth in there as well lately in some of the music as well. Then,
Yeah.
not mad at that. What does singing mean for you? Like, what does singing mean for you?
Singing is the easiest way I know how to express myself. Not even singing, songwriting. I can say things in my songs that I can't usually verbalize. And I just feel, I don't know, writing songs for me and singing them, it's just really therapeutic for the most part. And I realized I
For the
could
most.
sing from a young age. So I've always just kind of wanted to sing. Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite song that you've written, and why?
Well, there's a lot of songs I haven't released, but I won't include those.
Okay.
Out of the ones I've released, favorite song I've written might actually be Torn from my latest project. And I wrote that exactly when I felt torn. So every time I listen to the lyrics, I'm like, man, like every lyric is literal in that song. Every single one.
So you felt like your heart was in that one. That was like
Yeah.
it captured
Like I
everything that
wrote
you wanted
that
to
one
capture.
through tears. Like I was actually crying while I wrote that song.
Choice.
Yeah.
You'd be doing ones, that be selling out, with the real tears that drop onto that page is the real stuff,
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's kind of why I chose to put it on such an up-tempo beat, because I didn't want it to be like a sad, depressing song. So it's like you'll listen to it and you'll be getting like, ooh, okay. But if you really listen to the lyrics, it's like, oh, yeah.
Heartbreak.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. No, that's real. So, and I love the fact that you said that obviously you're able to fully express yourself in your music. That's your kind of channel to express yourself as well. And obviously that comes through your songwriting as well. So, like, for you then, if you were, apart from Michael Jackson, because I know you love Michael Jackson, so we know. Okay, so I'm gonna leave Michael Jackson on the side. So if you could make you're gonna make a single, but you could feature any artist, one or two. You can have two if you want, but if you just got one, that's fine. Who would you want to feature on that particular single, and why? What do you think it would bring to the table for you?
I don't want to say now.
I
I don't want to say.
Oh.
It would have been Chris Brown. I
mean, I get it. We get it. That's not problem. Yeah, we get it.
I just feel like musically, his style of singing, I really like his style of singing. I feel like I get a lot of inspiration from him in terms of his style of singing. And then the fact that he dances as well. I feel like he will bring the same energy. If I can think of anyone that is my match musically, it would be him, who's on the same type of like I feel like we would have a similar vision for a song. But anyone else, let me think. Because I can't think of anyone else that would actually make sense, because I love Beyonce, but me and Beyonce, that wouldn't make sense. And I can see that. Like I can acknowledge me and Beyonce would not make sense.
Why would it not make sense?
It just wouldn't. She's literally she's a different kind of woman, you know.
I hear
She's
you.
just like, what kind of? I did used to want to collab with Beyonce when I was younger, and I had like a vision in my head where she would be like the auntie passing down the torch, and I would be like, "Thank you, Beyonce."
Not her passing the torch to you. Here you go, darling. Okay, you
But
go,
no,
girl.
it's gone past that now. It just wouldn't make sense. I can't
Okay.
think of anyone else really apart from Chris Brown.
No. What do you think you'd call the title of the song?
I don't know. Because it depends. What would the song be about? Would we go for like a dance track? Would we go for a sexual track? Would we go for a
That's true.
heartbreak song? Would we go for a stunt and talk your shit? Like, I don't know. I feel like we could do them all.
So there'll be a couple titles, couple singles.
Couple. We might as well just do a joint album at this point.
It was just do a Marvin and Bow Wow style. You know, we're just gonna do a joint album there. You know, throw in a couple songs each. You know what I mean? Just let me hold you before you realize. Yeah, no, that makes sense, and I can see how CB would make sense because like he's got that dance style, the flow. You know what I'm saying? He's quite easy going with it. You know, he's got a freshness to him too, and that boy loves to dance, and he's got inspiration from MJ as well. So it would definitely.
That's what I'm saying. And he's a Taurus. I'm a Taurus. I believe in that stuff.
Taurus. Okay, what month is Taurus again?
April, May, end of April, beginning of May.
Okay, so your birthday is coming up soon. And as you said, you're having a little birthday party. Okay, cool. Do you celebrate your birthdays? I know you did it this year, but did you celebrate your birthdays much beforehand?
No, not really. I used to celebrate my birthdays, and then I noticed they would always get ruined, so it kind of put me off. Yeah. Yeah. So I would end up crying on a lot of my birthdays instead of actually having a good time. So I wouldn't plan anything for my birthday anymore. And then if I didn't plan anything, nothing got planned because nobody plans anything for me. So
that is, okay. So going back to what you said earlier at the very beginning, you said it's dark.
Yeah.
Let's bring that up to light. What are you talking about? What did you mean it's dark? Lay it on me.
I'm not gonna say I can't trust anyone, but I don't want to. I don't want to trust anyone. I don't want to listen to words from anyone anymore. I just don't care about a lot of things. I care about myself and that's it really. Obviously I care about my family. And my niece. She's my number one right now. But anything else, I don't really care. I don't put nothing past no one. No one. Even family, to be honest. So I'd rather just stay in my nice little black little bubble. Do for me, do for my niece. If you're there, you're there. If you're not, you're not. I don't feel much anymore. Like you can't upset me because I'm not going to allow you to upset me. That's just how I feel.
It's cold world, Joe Cole said.
No, literally. Because I feel like if I get upset by anyone, it's because I expected too much. I don't expect from anyone anymore at all. So if you say you're going to do something for me, fair enough. Okay. I'd rather you not tell me. Just do it then. If you do it, oh, thanks, appreciate that. But like, if you're going to tell me, I'm going to do this for you, and then you don't end up doing it, usually I would get upset. Because it's like, well, you told me you were going to, if you tell me you're going to do something, I don't believe you until it's done. So I'm not upset anymore. It's like, okay, didn't happen, didn't expect it to. People talk too much.
I get that. Yes, they do. No, they do. They do. I'm hearing what you're saying. So that feeling of disappointment is something that you don't want to experience anymore.
I don't want to experience anymore. Because when I'm in my emotions and I'm in like a really hurt place, it affects me physically really badly. Like I don't eat, I don't sleep, I don't bathe, I don't look after myself, I don't anything, and I just become a mess. And I hate that. I hate that I'm like that. But I just become in this state where it's hard. Like it's hard for me to do the basic things for myself when I'm in that hurt state. And I hate being in it. And I hate that a human has been able to
Power.
put me there. I don't ever want to be there again by anyone. I can't be. So I have to put up this, I don't know, I have to just block mostly everything. So I'm just, I don't know. I can't explain it. I just walk around like I'm not really in the real world. Like I'm in my own world. That's how I feel most days. Like
That's real.
nothing angers me lately. Even like things that would anger me before. Like, for example, this week I booked studio space to film some content for my channel. I'm already sick, as I said, so me taking myself out the house was already a drama. Get there now, it's Good Friday. There's a big street party outside the studio, so it's so loud. Wasn't able to film a thing. So no, that's fine. Reschedule it 2 days later. Go home. I wake up, I'm even more sick. 2 days later, studio's booked again. I go there to film regardless. Everything's going all right. I was filming a cooking video. As soon as I put the flipping meat in the pan, the whole alarm in the studio goes off, and it wouldn't turn off. It was on for hours. We actually all left the studio and the alarm was still on. The fire brigade came, everything. And mind you, I'm trying to film for a sponsorship. So this is affecting my money. I'm already sick. I wasn't angry. I just said, you know what? It weren't meant to be. I still ain't filmed the sponsorship all now, and I'm still sick. But I'm just, usually things like that will get me angry and annoy me. But I'm just like, what can I do to control that? Nothing. I'm not going to let it control my emotions. I'm not going to start crying because I want my sponsorship money. I'm just going to try again. If it don't work, it don't work. If they don't accept the sponsor, they don't accept the sponsor. Because I've already filmed the video, mind you, and they declined it. They said I had to refilm because I did something that I weren't supposed to do in the guidelines. So I'm like, this is becoming a big burden right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm just still going for it. I'm just like, do you know what? If I'm meant to do this, I'm going to do this. If I'm not, there's other sponsorships. Is what it is.
That's real, you know. I don't even think that's too dark, personally.
Yeah.
I think that's just literally I just think that it's a real place to be in, though. I think especially for people that are self-reliant and have always been self-reliant, you know, that is a real place that you describe, because and I'll say my own perspective rather than saying yourself, but I think when you are so independent and have been for so long, you've also had to kind of regulate your own kind of feelings. You know what I mean? So you've had to kind of self-soothe, you know, kind of look after yourself in an emotional perspective. And in a sense, and what happens, I think, for me personally, and maybe you can identify, is that the emotions get put on a back burner. I'm just gonna do that, and I think that's where the creativity comes into play, because that's a form of being able to emote. That's where the business mindset comes in, because it's like, I'm not going to rely on anybody. I'm going to be dependent upon myself, because I can't be having expectations of people, because it can let me down. If they let me down, I'm going to feel some type of way again. I don't want to do that. So I want to avoid those sentiments and those feelings. But then it's almost, and I think, again, from my perspective, then it's like, I remember putting a lot of pressure inadvertently and subconsciously on the women that I was dating. So like they became everything. And what I mean by everything, what I mean by that is you have the power to destroy me. Because see, I already done the you know, whatever happened at home. But now, you know, I'm investing in you. I'm investing in a relationship, and I'm hoping that you are going to change my narrative that I've seen previously. I'm going to extend my elbow. I'm gonna put a little bit of weight on you just to see if I can rely on you, and I'm hoping you can stand there. And as you start to put more and more weight on that person to kind of be open to the fact that you're going to be dependent upon them and open and share yourself emotionally, that's where it becomes the most dangerous, because it's like, now I've opened my heart up and I've opened my rib cage up for you to you. At this point in time, you grab my heart now and you squeeze, you know, I'm finished, because it took all energy and strength just to even open myself up to your ass. So if your
Yeah.
ass decides now to try and take me out the game, like, yo, you do more damage than even you've done more damage to me than I thought anybody could, because I gave everything to you. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I saw it when I was dating previously. And it was I struggled to communicate with a lot of my exes back in the past, because it took a lot to be able to open up and share. Because if I share with you, that gives you access to me in a different way. You know what I mean? I had to kind of hold back a little bit just to make sure you don't get too much of me. But then when I did open up, and someone did me dirty, blood. I was fasting and praying for a whole 12 months. So you know what I mean? I don't know if you understand, if that makes sense for you and where you're coming from.
No, it does make sense. With me, when in relationships or whatever, I don't want to say I'm like quite naive and gullible, but I guess I was. But I'm the type of person, I would believe everything that you're saying to me, even if your actions are showing me different. I'm gonna believe your words. So if you're telling me that you're gonna do this and you're gonna change, or you're gonna, you know, make things better, or I'm gonna believe you. I'm gonna believe you every time you say it. And that's changed now. Now I don't, because of that, because I've been told so often that I will do this and I will do that and I will change, and it never happened. I'm like, well, no.
Mm.
Now it's gotten to a point where I've willingly believed it like an idiot. Like that this isn't, oh, he's convincing, because that would always be my excuse. Oh, but it's convincing. Oh, but it was different from what he said last time. So this time it actually is different because he never said that last time. No. I want to believe it because that's what I want to
Yeah.
be true. But it like, come on. So
And there's
yeah.
nothing wrong. I mean, I get that. Listen, the audience know about my story. I was an idiot too. This is
Mhm.
why I know it is. We are, and I think, we're kind of people that, again, like I said, I think we are inadvertently, the reason why we hardening up so much is because we're so sensitive.
Mhm.
And the sensitivity is not a bad thing. It makes you a kind of individual person who can also help others as well, because that sensitivity, that empathy, I should even say, is what drives us to help other people and be so giving.
Mm.
But that empathy, when it's not protected, it can make you want to put up a lot of walls, because you can get easily hurt, you know.
Yeah.
And so even yourself, like you were saying, my situation, baby, listen, the whole girl told me, listen, I gave her a choice between me and the man after she did what she did. And she still chose a man, and I was still trying to persuade her. Like, she chose him. I was like, yeah, but no, but are you sure? Are you really sure that's what you
Are you
want?
sure? Are you
Like,
sure?
are you sure? I was practically begging, okay? I was
Yeah.
practically begging, okay? I was practically begging. And so I know exactly what that is. In those moments that, you- I was being an idiot. But
Mm.
I was hoping that I was almost hoping that me giving as much love as I did would be able to turn around a situation. I wanted to be able to turn it around because I cared about that person so much. So I'm not, I definitely identify where you're coming from in terms of you saying that these situations that you had been through, like, you even want to will it, you almost want to believe what's even happening to you.
Yeah. I
Like, it's
believe
like,
in
oh no,
people,
no.
like all the time. I always believe in people. I believe everyone's capable of doing right. So I
Yeah.
just want to get that out of you. Like, I know you're capable, so just let me bring it out of you. You can do it. Come on. Even if
Mm.
I'm gonna get hurt along the way, I know you can do it. Like, it has to be worth it at the end. I can't go through all this hurt. So at the end, it's just nothing. So that was all for nothing.
That's one of the
Like,
hardest parts,
I
isn't
really
it?
believe in people too much.
Is that because you want them to believe in you?
I feel like it's easy to believe in me because I'm not gonna lie. Whatever I say, I do. Whoever I say I am, I am.
Mm.
I don't think I've ever given anyone a reason to not believe in me. And even if I can't, deliver, you gonna see me try. You really gonna see me try. So I just don't see why anyone wouldn't believe in me. And that's why I expect people to, this is why I expect people to just do good, because I'm like, I know you can, because if I can do it,
You can do it. You're damn welcome.
Do it too.
No, that's real. That's real. I'm with you on this, like, giving in and giving and sharing and loving people.
Yeah.
It sometimes can be a thankless job, isn't it?
Yeah.
It can be quite painful. What's your thoughts? What are you thinking right now? Talk to me. What are you thinking right now?
I don't know. I just think over the years I've just learned that it isn't even about people being capable. They have to want to. If they don't want to, it don't matter how capable they are, they're not going to.
Yeah.
So I think now, moving forward, when I speak to people, I try and see, do you want to? Are you interested really? Or is just this like human nature? Or are you just doing stuff out of like force of habit? Do you actually want to? And if I can sense someone doesn't, I don't entertain even a friendship. Nothing. Like there's no point if you don't actually want to, and or you're doing something for a reason. Maybe you're doing something to get something back from me. Nah, I'm okay. Pretty sure there's someone else that can provide what you need. I'm not interested in transactional relationships, to be honest. And I feel like a lot of my relationships were transactional.
In what way? When you say do a transactional from your perspective?
As in, people are only around me when I can do something for them or when it benefits them. They only call my phone when they want a favor or they want something. It could even be something as small as advice. It's still taking my time, but you don't actually just want to be around me, Daina the person. It's what Daina the person can bring for you, bring to you, do for you. And I didn't realize that mainly. I've noticed it a lot in friendships before, but I didn't notice it in my relationship until being out of the relationship. It's like, wow, like I really thought you were here just because you loved me and just for me. But actually, a lot of perks came with Daina. And I wonder now, if all them perks weren't there, would I have been in a relationship so long? I don't think so. I don't think so. So it's not like I regret some of the things I did in my relationship. I don't regret it because that's just how I am. I never once gave or done something for something back. That was always because genuine love. So I don't regret anything I've done. But at the same time, it's like, damn, don't do that again.
I can't be in that place again. I'm listening to you.
What are you thinking?
Do you know what? Because because you've told your story, in my brain, my thing is less about going back into that less about the details of the story, more about what your thoughts and your feelings are in a sense, and what you're kind of thinking. And I guess for me as well, like in my head, I'm also kind of trying to be introspective as well as you're talking and listening and going, is there things that I need to be aware of too, rather, you know what I mean? So I think as I'm listening to you, I'm also kind of just making sure I'm listening to myself like, there are things that I need to also check at me as well, because I see that we're quite similar. So I think that's what I'm thinking at the moment. And then obviously as I'm listening to you, I'm like, okay, it's real, and, in your particular situation, you had almost a decade. That's quite a long time. My longest relationship has been 2-3 years. So 10 years is a very long time to be with somebody. And I remember the pain of the 2-3 years. I can't imagine 10 and being married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking.
Hmm. I think for me as well, a lot of what I did was because of the marriage title. Because I like to
Mm,
tell myself that if we was boyfriend and girlfriend, half of this wouldn't have happened. I'm not gonna know because that wasn't the case. But I felt like husband wife to me made a lot of what I did for my relationship okay. Because it's like I'm not just doing this for any old random off the street. Like this is my husband.
hmm.
Almost in a sense felt like this is what you do. This is holding it down. This is what you're supposed to do. And it's not like I had an example to go by. Like I said, my mum and my dad.
Mm.
So to be fair, I was just kind of just, learning as I go on. And I think things became too comfortable in a sense where I was doing a lot of the things that maybe wasn't my place to do, but because we were both just so used to me doing certain things, if I
Mm.
don't do them, it changed the dynamic like a lot, and I would notice that.
How would it change? You mean, how would you, when you say it changed the dynamic, from your perspective, what do you mean by that?
Like the way I was treated would change. I wasn't treated
Mm.
as nice as I was when I was doing certain things. We'd have a lot more arguments about those things. And then it would almost become like those things were non-existent. It's like that Destiny's Child song. It's like I say yes to your number and yes to your enemy. The first time I said no, it's like I never say yes. That's how I felt. Like literally, damn. The first time I switch it up, you all of a sudden acting like everything else I've done is non-existent. And now you running with this
Mm.
narrative that you don't do this, you don't do that. Why da 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 da? It's like, hold on a minute. You've been spoilt. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. Because it's funny when I listen to like other people, they do like debates and stuff on podcasts and stuff, and like you have the women that say, "I'm not going to be with a man unless he's paying my bills. He needs to this, he needs to that," and I just be thinking, is this realistic? Like, do you guys actually say this to men you're talking to? Like, if you ain't paying my bills, then you can't talk to me. Because in my world, that was just not realistic. Like, I'm not gonna go say that to my man and get like a normal response. Like, what?
Listen, I mean, most of us are on the average wave. Not myself,
Yeah,
but I'm saying most of us on the average wage. So yeah, anybody paying your bills.
right.
But I'm with you. I'm listening to you. Mhm.
But that's just so normal for some women. And I just feel like, how do you get yourself in that place? Because
Mm.
my relationship didn't start from a place of money. It started from a place of, oh, we're attracted to each other. Oh, we're together now. Oh, we both hustling. Oh, we both got ambition. He had his career. I had mine. We grinding our way to the top together. Like there was no place for, what are you bringing me, sir? Why I should give you a chance. Like there was never that. Like I can't imagine starting a relationship based off that. Like what are you
Mm.
bringing me to give you a chance?
Mm.
But today, oh, I tell you, I can imagine it. Because right now, no, honestly,
What
because
we're not
every
gonna
woman
do.
I've spoken to since, I've now realized, because I tried the same method of before, like, yeah, give everyone a chance, yeah, just get to know. And I don't want to like, I don't think I'm better than anyone, and I don't want to like
Of
downplay
course.
anyone. Everyone's out here trying, but it was one particular guy I was speaking to, and he just kept on saying loads of things, and it just kept on getting worse and worse. Like at first, he wasn't employed. I'm like, okay, that's fine. He's finding his feet. Then he was a student. I'm like, oh, student at our big age. Okay, that's fine. There's students in their 40s sometimes. Then he didn't drive. Okay, that's fine. Maybe he will learn. No, he's his license. He doesn't have it. It's been revoked. I'm like, oh, okay. Then he's got a child. Child, that's fine. Children are cool. Oh, but the baby mom has a baby on the way. She's currently pregnant. Oh, like it just kept on getting worse, and I kept on trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because he was such a nice guy. But I'm like, actually, I'm Daina. Why am I accepting this? No, actually, no, thank you. Like what I've got going on and what I've built for myself, you ain't about to come over here with your baby on the way, no license. No job.
You're not bringing anything here.
No. And I felt really bad. And that's something I'm trying to work on because I always feel bad. Like, damn. I don't like rejecting people. I really don't.
That's fair. That's fair. Because you're empathizing with that rejection. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I totally get that. I totally get that. And I think what you're explaining happens to a lot of us, right? I think, you're a person that went into a situation wanting to love, and, in the hopes that this love will return. Do you know what I mean? So you weren't thinking necessarily, and you were young, so you're not thinking, expectations, he's got to be this, that. You're just thinking, well, we're loving each other, we're supposed to care about each other, etc., etc. So I totally get that. One thing that you said that was really interesting, you said about within the relationship, you said, if you didn't almost like if you didn't fill in, the relationship would change. Right. And I found that interesting because it's almost as if you didn't do what you had to do in that relationship to keep it together, the relationship would deteriorate and the treatment that you would get would be negative. But that almost would have actually brought the relationship probably to an end quicker. So I want to ask a question. Was there a sense within yourself, maybe in the back of your mind or somewhere in your heart or somewhere deep down, that if you don't do something, if you don't get involved, if you don't be the glue to this relationship, that this relationship is going to fall apart?
Yeah, I think I was really in denial about that. I would always just tell myself, it takes work. It takes two. We both have to work. And that's what I would tell myself we were doing. Like, we're both putting in the work. But really and truly, it was just me. And I was really in denial about that. And like I said, I would believe a lot of what was told to me. And I would think, nope, things can get better because things weren't always as bad. So things will get better because I know he's capable of making it go better. So that's what I'd hang on to. I would hang on to, I've had a different relationship with this person. Even though our relationship is this right now, I've had a different one already with you. So I'm holding on to that because that's going to come back. And if I put the work in and you put the work in, it's going to come back. When really I was just putting the work in, but I weren't really putting the work in. I was just, in a way, doing things to try and keep him happy, keep him sweet. Because if I keep him happy and I keep him sweet, he's going to want to be with me. He's going to want to do good by me because he knows that I'm doing things to make him happy. So why wouldn't he want to do right by me? That's how I felt.
That's real.
And even though it was hard, a lot of the time, after there was already betrayal and all of that sort of stuff, it was really hard for me to even want to do anything nice for him. I'm not going to lie. Didn't do anything nice for him. Nothing. Because I'm doing it, but then in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm really rewarding him. Is this what I've become? Come on, Daina. Like, I'll have my little chats with myself. I'll have my chats.
It's like, me now. What's that like then? Like when you look back, almost like look back at yourself in that scenario, in that situation, and you're looking at Daina at that point, and you can see that you're doing things that you're like, raw, why am I doing X, Y, and Z? What's that like when you're kind of almost looking back at yourself? What's that like?
Looking back at myself, I don't like that woman. I see a lot of desperation and I see a lot of caring what others thought, because a big part of me as well didn't want the marriage to fail because that's what you're used to hearing. Like, that couple, it's another statistic, you're not going to last.
Come on.
I'm not trying to hear that. I didn't want to hear that. And especially family getting involved, saying, come on, work it out. I had this point to prove. Like, no, I'm going to prove to everyone, family, friends, public, everyone, that we are going to make this and we can make this. And Black love exists. And I'm pretty sure it does. It just didn't exist in my relationship. Because that weren't love. I'm sorry. It weren't. And maybe at one point it was. But towards the end, if that was love, that's not the type of love that I want. I'm not gonna lie. And when they say you got to fight for your love and all them kind of fights there, I'm all right. I'm okay. No way. So when I look back at that woman, I don't like who I was back then, because I don't stand for that. Everything I put myself through, I don't stand for that. And I never stood for that. So I really do beat myself up a little bit of why I stood for it with him and why I believed so heavy that this will be okay. Like, it's like, no, it's fine. We're going to switch this around. We're going to laugh about this when we're old. We're going to tell our grandkids our story and how we made it. But nah, why would I want to tell my grandkids that story? Like, why am I thinking as I'm going through that? No, we're going to laugh about this one day. This is nothing to laugh about. Like, it's done a lot. Like I said, physically, it's taken a toll. Mentally, it's taken a toll. Like, nah. And it's not actually normal. I feel like I tried to normalize a lot of the behavior. So when I look back, I'm looking at a woman that is just normalizing foolishness. Like, I might as well, I don't want to be like dramatic, but I feel like I might as well normalize physical abuse then. If I normalized what I went through. Like, why is it okay just because I weren't being beaten on? Especially growing up and knowing that my dad was abusive to my mum as well. I seen that, witnessed that firsthand. And I always said to myself, I'm never going to be in an abusive relationship. I'm never going to let a man put his hands on me. Okay, fair enough. But I let a lot of other shit slide. I'm not high and mighty because he didn't hit me. Like, it's just abuse in a different form. And I tolerated it with no reward. Like, it's not even like, you know, some people would be like, oh yeah, I stayed with him so many years. Yeah, he was abusive, but at least he paid my bills. Not even that. Not even that. No rewards.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I can't even get the bills and paid. No, I know. And maybe that's like a driving force then as to what also helped maintain the situation. Like I said, you wasn't getting beat, so it's like, if that's the case, then it can't be that bad because I'm still trying to make it work. You know what I mean? And I totally understand that. You know, being in a perspective where you just want to try so hard to make it work. You know, that you want to prove that you can do something that maybe you didn't necessarily see being done. You will almost want to say it's going to be different for me than it was what I saw from my mum, and I totally understand that.
Yeah,
makes sense for the motivation.
yeah. And if I'm being completely honest with myself, if I still was in love with him the way I was the whole entire time, putting up with everything, I'll probably still be with him. It's when something switched in my head where I genuinely couldn't stand to be in the same room as him. It was so easy to leave. Like, that feeling came from within where actually I don't enjoy your company anymore. I'm not even physically attracted to you anymore. The sight of you just makes me sick. Hearing your voice pisses me off. Then it was so easy. It was just so easy for me to be done. And I don't know what got me to that point to feel like that internally, but I'm glad. Because if I was still in love and still feeling the same way and just, no, I would be there all 20 odd years, I'm sure. No matter how much he did. Because all the fuckery he did, it weren't enough for me to just pack up and leave then. It was always, oh no, it was a mistake. Oh no, he didn't mean it. I know he really loves me. I had to actually feel it. And I'm glad I did.
Listen, I mean, that's real, that one, you know. Coming to that place where something just snaps and there's some clarity. You know what I mean? Almost like you come out of the spell. You know what I mean? Like you come out from
Yeah.
underneath the
That's what
spell,
it
and
felt like. It felt like I
insane.
literally was under a spell and I came out of it. I woke up with new eyes and all of a sudden I
Mm,
just looked at him completely differently. And I started questioning myself, why, how have I been here this long? Why am I with you? I'm so confused. I could not see any of the good qualities anymore at all. They didn't exist. Like there was even a point where I started to watch old videos of ours just to see. Let me see, because I remember like everyone loves us as a couple. We're just great. And
mm,
as I'm looking at these old videos, I'm seeing so much negative that I didn't notice before. And I'm like, raw. The wool was really over my eyes. I thought this was supposed to be the happy time. This was the happy
mm.
time. NASA.
Mm.
NASA. That could have never been
Sorry.
the happy time. I was craving to come back. Very mad.
Mm. When you look back at some of the videos, which one stood out for you that you was like, oh, damn, I was
A lot
suffering
of the
that one.
vlogs. There was a couple of vlogs where we traveled and we went to Canada, even Japan. I took him for Japan on his birthday. It weren't even what we were doing. It was just our interactions. Our interactions were
Yeah.
so off.
Mm.
And at the time, I didn't realize it. I didn't notice it. That was just normal. And that was us having fun in my eyes. But there was a lot of, I don't know, there was a lot of snarky comments and a lot of snideness and a lot of looks and side eyes. And I'm like, shit, how did I not notice this? Mm,
I think I watched one where you guys were in the car,
mm,
and I think you mentioned something, and his attitude. I was like, but only now because I watched it back. Because
mm,
when I watched it originally, I never saw it like that. You
mm.
know what I mean? When I watched it when it first came out, I was like, oh no, this is just them. And but only after I watched it, I was like, when I watched it back, I was like, did this nigga just do that? like, you know what I mean? So you know, when you have fresh set of eyes and you're looking from a different perspective, you do see it in a different way. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You know, you see it in a
yeah.
different way. So I totally get that. So when you finally obviously wanted to file for divorce, what was that like for you in your head? Like, do you know what I mean? I know it had snapped for you and your clarity, but you know, putting that pen to say, okay, look, we're gonna have to get this divorce now. That's another step. That takes a whole lot of different strength. What was that? What was going through your mind? What was going through your head? You know, take us through that little bit of a journey for you.
To be honest, the actual divorce was the last thing on my mind.
I
My
hear that.
main focus was just getting away, being out,
Mm,
getting my own space, having no contact with you. It's only now since I've settled into my own space, now I'm thinking of, okay, cool, we need to put pen to paper now. And like I said in my videos, he did message me and ask for an address. He said he was going to start the filing. So I was like, oh, perfect. I don't even have to file. He's going to do it. But still hasn't happened yet. So I am going to. All of that revenue that I made from them story times shall be in my bank account at the end of this month. And some of that will go to that divorce. And I can't wait to just be done with it. I'm ready to just get my surname back. And I'm actually really excited. That part I'm excited for. I just hope it
mm,
goes smoothly. I've never had a divorce before, so I don't know how long they take, but hopefully everything goes smooth and I can just be done.
mm. Does it feel like you know you finally now you feel like obviously yeah that process has started now, like you said that process is in motion, but for you now at this point in time, is there some relief? Do you now feel some relief, or is it still does it still feel like a heavy burden of such?
I feel a relief, but not so much really, because I don't, it's like it seems too easy and nothing was ever easy with him. So I'm just waiting. It's like I'm holding my breath,
Mm,
I'm waiting for something because this is going too easy. I just can't see it. If it does, oh, thank goodness for that. But I just really can't see it going too easy. So I haven't really had that sigh of relief yet because I'm still like kind of on edge. And I thought like even his mum still contacts me. She just contacted me like a couple days ago. We had a little
defend him.
conversation and then she ended the conversation saying I love you. And I'm like, because I do love her. I haven't got nothing against her, but it's hard because it's like, damn, I really was a part of your family and now I'm not. Like, when do we start to break ties? When do I stop accepting or responding to her messages? Like, when do I block her? Like, I don't want to do these things, but I know I'm probably going to have to. Because what is the purpose of us speaking now? What's really the purpose? I don't know. These are things I'm currently navigating through.
I don't think anyone has to. I don't think anyone has to necessarily answer. I mean, I don't think, if you feel there's a valuable relationship there, I don't see why you have to necessarily cut it off, unless it then gives him access to enter your space. Then maybe, but if that's a valued relationship, then you may have to put boundaries in place. But it may be something that you want to save and savor. If not, then you can go. That's up to you, and that's what you will determine that yourself. But that's the real question. I don't even think about that, So has he been contacting you in the process in the time, like to try and get you back again, or is it finally like dead now? He's not trying to roll you back in anymore.
No, he's not trying to roll me back in anymore. The last contact was him asking for my address for the divorce, and I ended up giving him my mum's address instead of mine. And I think he knows that I gave him my mum's address, and then he kind of gave me like a snappy response after that, and I haven't heard from him since. So even that, like, I questioned myself for a while. Did he just ask to get a reaction out of me? Because why haven't I received the papers yet? Or did he just want my new address? I don't know. But I had to stop questioning. I'm like, do you know what? It doesn't even matter. Because here I go again, starting to try to understand why he does what he does. I don't need to understand. I don't. You wanted an address? You got my mum's. You're going to send the papers or you're not. Either way, I'm going to file. So
I'm with you on that. It's not easy, man. This is not easy at all. Relationships ain't no joke, man. But like I said, I do feel for you, and like I said, I didn't necessarily want to go into the depth of the relationship aspect again, because I felt like you've done a good job in breaking it down for us, in your videos, and you've done a good job in terms of actually just kind of give us a better picture and stuff. But I love hearing your commentary, I guess, emotion in terms of what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're seeing, in that regard as well. So I think one of the questions that the audience were asking me to ask for you is, have you gone into therapy or any counseling or anything like that to kind of help you along this journey, to aid you in the healing process?
I haven't, but I want to. I do want to try therapy. I want a Black therapist though, so I actually have been on the hunt. I've been trying to find one. If anyone has any suggestions, send them my way on the socials and all of that. But I'm not against it. I'll definitely want to give it a try.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I respect that. Because it ain't easy out here. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
It really
easy. I'm telling you. Do you know what's a side question though? Or even a side commentary. I was talking to a friend, and I was because obviously again, and I was saying to her, like, you know what, the hardest thing I think for being the kind of people that we are, and you kind of said it as well about not trusting people. I think one of the hardest things is that people giving you time. Like, for instance, let's say for instance, if I'm going through something, right, I really need, if I'm gonna tell somebody the fullness of the subject, I need time. And what I mean by that is I need that person's undivided attention. And I find it that there are very few people give you undivided attention. You know what I mean? Like, so like if you're telling your story, they're invested in just kind of just listening and just being like, okay, yeah, tell me more. I want to know. Like, okay, I find it's very hard to find people like that, because as soon as you start, they come and interrupt their storyline with their own story for the next 20 minutes or so. You know what I mean? Do you experience those kind of things as well?
Yeah. This is why I stopped venting or like talking to people, because they would find a way to relate it back to themselves. And I'm just like, okay, yeah. And I get it though, because I'm guilty of doing that sometimes as well. But it's because you want them to understand that I get it. I know what you're going through, but I don't need that from you right now. I need you to just listen to me, please. So yeah, I kind of stopped speaking about stuff. And this is why I speak about things a lot online. A lot of my subscribers know that I'm always on live, and I love like doing stories and things like that. And that comes from a place of I can speak to a bunch of strangers and they're literally just going to lap it all up. They're all going to listen and they're just going to take me in, and they're not going to like start writing essays about, oh yeah, that happened to me when I was 20 years old and da 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 da. Like, you don't get that. I usually just get back, oh my gosh, that's so messed up, or oh my gosh, I can't believe you had to go through that. And sometimes you just want that sort of like validation to be like, okay, I'm not tripping. This is really messed up what I'm going through. And you can see what I can see. Sometimes that's all I really want. And a lot of the times the people I was speaking to, I wasn't getting that from them. Or if I wasn't getting them relating things back to themselves, they're now scolding me. Well, you need to leave. You need to do this. You need to, come on, you being stupid. Da, 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 da. I don't want to hear that either. Like, please. So it was one or the other. So then I would stop speaking.
Now I have a question. Now, during the case of in terms of the marriage partnership that you had with Amit, did you were you ever able freely to give your vulnerable side to him? So you know how we're talking about sharing things and sharing what's on our mind and sharing our hearts. Were you able to freely give that to him? Those aspects of you?
I don't think so. No. I always felt like things I would try and be vulnerable about, he wouldn't take seriously. And they were never serious, never a big deal. Or he would make me feel kind of silly for putting so much weight on something that was just, that don't mean nothing. So then no, I wouldn't be vulnerable, because it's like, oh, he's just gonna judge me anyway and make it seem like what I feel isn't like what, there's people worse off than you, basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn. So when does our sis get to feel safe emotionally?
I never feel safe emotionally. That's the maddest thing. But I really do feel safe online. And like, I think people always question, like, when I talk about trolls and stuff and how much it's affected me. And it's like, well, just come offline. Don't be online. Being online and speaking to people that support me, it's really therapeutic for me as well. Like it is when I write my songs. Like, it's a safe space for me. I get a lot from being online and sharing with people online. And I'd hate that. I wish I had like a safe space offline, which I'm getting now. Like, my relationships with my friends has gotten a lot better since I've left my relationship. I will say that. And a lot of them have let me know that they can see me in this space and they couldn't get me out, and they just didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to help me. So now that I'm out of it, it's like they're saying all these things to me that I'm like, I wish you would have said this before. They're like, we couldn't say these things to you because you were such in a place, you were in a sunken place. I'm like, oh my gosh. So my relationships with my friends has gotten a lot better now. So I am getting that safe space. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of my friends are on edge because they're seeing similar patterns that I was displaying in the relationship. So like, if I'm like telling them stories about other people I'm talking to or what have you, they all automatically get on like, not like a mode, but like, no, you need to not do that because remember, I'm like, damn. I'm just trying to express my feelings and my thoughts. I didn't say I was gonna. Come on, it's like almost like they don't trust me to do better.
I get that. They're like, we ain't gonna go through that again.
Yeah,
We gonna lose
like,
you at
no,
that
we're not
again.
doing this again with you, Daina. I'm just speaking. Like, I didn't do anything yet. Calm down.
Mm.
Hmm.
It's interesting. We were talking about this yesterday. We were talking about with the men's panel, and we were talking about marriage and relationships, and we're talking about vulnerability. And one of the hardest things is to be not only vulnerable with other people, but actually to be vulnerable with yourself. Because like yourself, even though you're with yourself and you can't run away from yourself, it can be very hard to be open and transparent and truthful about what you're even feeling, what you're even going through, and actually be real with yourself and say, this is what I'm facing. Because sometimes talking about, sometimes even acknowledging or facing your own vulnerabilities is, for me personally, it can sometimes feel like weakness. Because like it's like, oh, what do I have to be feeling like this? Should I be feeling like this? Why do I need to feel like this? Like, oh, it'll pass, or or do you know what? Let me let it pass because I ain't got time to think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've got things to do. I've got places to be, and I've got success to meet. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so sometimes I feel like I'm surviving, not thriving. At points in time. Yeah.
Mm. Yes. I feel exactly the same way. I'm surviving, not thriving. I
Mm.
felt like that for years. Literally. And that's funny. Every time, like, someone I haven't spoken to in a long time always comes to check up on me. How you been? I'm surviving. That's what I say.
I'm a survivor.
Literally. Hmm.
Mm. I don't know why you cracking up.
Because we're just both like sitting here looking at the comments, like
Yeah, I know. I was looking at these niggas. What
looking at
they
what they
saying? What they saying?
say.
We got the last 8 minutes, so but yeah, no. Um, it is. Honestly, that's how it feels at times. It does feel like I'm surviving sometimes. Like sometimes, listen, what happens to me? Yeah, I literally people message me on WhatsApp, and I can see it and tell myself I'm probably gonna reply to this in 2 hours time. 2 hours time comes, I'm like, I don't reply to it. Then it becomes 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, could become 2 years. And sometimes I'm overwhelmed by the amount of messages. Sometimes I'm getting emails, I'm seeing the emails, and I feel like I'm drowning. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like it's too much. And sometimes it's only like 5 emails, but
Yeah.
it's like I have to respond to it. It's too much.
Oh my God, yes. Exactly how I am. It gets too much, and another email comes in. It's like, oh, nah, come on.
Yeah,
Too much
you
now.
ain't getting this work. No,
I wish I knew why that was though.
I guess
Like
it's
it's such a big deal for me. It's like it's such a big task. Like I have to dedicate a day to responding to those
listen.
5 emails.
These audience know they know about me because you be emailing me and I'll be like, yeah, I'll get back to you.
Literally.
I I came to the conclusion just as I researched that a lot of it is um it's an overload of emotional energy. So you get to a point where you only have a certain amount of uh energy to give emotionally. And
Mm.
so when you get to that capacity, it's almost like a computer. When the computer gets too hot, it will shut itself down because it needs to reset, cool, etc., etc. And I
Yeah.
think that happens to us as human beings. But I think for us, you know, us our own perspective, and where we come from, is that there's too much going on. So there's too many things that are taking your attention and your time, and that creates a stress on the body. So in order for you not to implode, what your body does is it kind of shuts down. It's like, oh, we're gonna have to shut down. So when we talk about emotional regulation, we talk about understanding, processing, and expressing. When you can't process every emotion that's happening to you, the thing shuts down. It has to, because otherwise there's gonna be a crash that's gonna be really bad for you. When you can't express verbally, people tend to get very angry, frustrated, and they tend to hit out and do things physically. When you can't understand, this is where mentally people get messed up because there's too much confusion going on, right? So for us, we're in the process stage, the emotional regulation. So when we can't process stuff because there's too much happening, like there's a flood of, like, almost like water's almost coming over the banks, we just have to shut it down. So it's like we just want to go into this place where I don't want to talk to nobody. Listen, I live alone. I could easily go 2-3 weeks without talking to nobody,
Yeah.
and I'd be comfortable. You know what I mean? I can go 2-3 weeks comfortably and do it easy. And sometimes people call me and I see the call and I said, I'm not really trying to answer this call right now. And the reason being is I don't want to answer right now because I feel like it's too emotionally taxing. I'm gonna have to give so much emotional energy to this conversation, and I don't have it right now. So I'm just gonna ignore you. And it's not because I want to be bad or anything, but it's just because it's too much. I'm overwhelmed in those moments, and it's emotional stuff. I know I think you will identify this as a creative. You can be great, and that can also add its own pressure of potential. It's like you know that you want to do amazing things, and sometimes when you're not hitting every stride the way you want to, that creates its own internal pressure. I've got perfectionism, but I'm not perfect. I'm the worst perfectionist because I am not even close to being perfect, and that creates its own stress again on itself. And then I feel bad if I say I'm going to be here at 5 o'clock. I might be there at 6, and I start feeling bad about it, or I might not turn up at all because I'm too stressed about something. And a lot of this becomes a pile-on effect. And then when I want to tell people what I'm going through, I don't trust people enough to be able to tell them what I'm going through because, number one, where do I start from? Because it's a hell of a long story. Number two, when you do tell them stuff, yeah, people's attention span be like 20 minutes. I need 2-3 hours from you. Okay, sit there, listen, just go and then ask me another question. No, don't tell me your story. I don't want to hear what you got to say. But then I start feeling guilty because I'm being selfish if I do that. So I'm
Yeah.
locked in my own prison, if that makes sense.
It makes complete sense because same. Literally same.
It's a lot.
I think I'm like on the next level though, because like if people call me and I would want to ignore it, I'll feel bad. So I'll eventually answer. I wish I could just do that whole not answering thing. Someone
I'm no
texted
better
me
than
like
you, baby.
5 days ago, and I swear I'm itching to text back, but I don't want to. Like, I haven't even opened the message, and I hate notifications on my phone, so I've just got the notification still there because I've got my read receipts on. So if I open it, they're gonna know I read it. But I really don't respond. I don't, but I feel so bad. It's like day 5.
Will they make it to day 6? I don't know.
I don't know.
Ooh, baby. What's your final thoughts? So listen, because I know we've come to our 2-hour mark. So what's your final thoughts, if you have any?
I
Any
don't think I
final
have
thoughts?
any final thoughts. I've enjoyed our
Okay.
chat.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned a bit more about myself, but speaking it out loud is different from just thinking it in your head. So I feel
Trust me.
very optimistic now. I just feel like I knew what I had to do before, but it's clearer now. I have a bit of clarity. So I'm happy about that. And
I
this felt
appreciate
like
that.
a safe space. We spoke about having safe spaces. This felt like one.
I appreciate it, man. We aim to produce safe spaces. You know, we want you to feel safe. I felt safe too. So
Good.
I appreciate you. You know. But listen, audience, thank you so much for participating in this conversation between myself and Daina. It was, you know, it was quite an enthralling conversation. I loved even the little pauses we had. You know, that was quite natural and it didn't feel awkward. So that means, you know, that's a good flow. And honestly, we appreciate you guys who were in here, you know, adding your commentary and in a beautiful, safe, respectful manner, and we appreciate it. And this won't be the last time. I'm sure we'll interact some more, and you guys will get some great content in the future. But I honestly thank you. Appreciate you, Daina, honestly, for coming on here. It's an honor. Um, and yeah, we'll definitely be catching up in future. Audience, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Okay, all right. There's a lot I would do, so be careful out there in them streets. Okay, all right. Just be careful in them streets. All right, all right. And you know what I gotta do? I gotta leave you here.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
You know you gotta leave us time, people.